Hey, my name is Mohan, I'm the CMO of Nairon.
My name is Luca, and I'm the CEO of Nairon.
Luca, over the past couple of videos, we've gone deep into AI agents and how they work. But we still haven't made a distinction between when an agent is autonomous, meaning it can run on its own, and when it always needs a human in the loop. So in this video, let's go over agent autonomy and give a good explanation to the viewers.
Right, so you just said it right there. It's essentially a spectrum where we give the agent the ability to do more and more tasks without us being in the loop. So previously, when we would use ChatGPT, for example, we would be all the way here on the left side of the spectrum. Every single task needed to be approved. Every usage of your Gmail or your calendar, any tools or connectors that you might be using on ChatGPT need to be approved, right? And what we've essentially done over the past year or so is built out the harnesses, which we spoke about in a previous video, that allow us to give the AI agents a lot more autonomy, pushing them over here to the right, where essentially a task starts the second that it is reported, and it can go and essentially do all of the things that it would like to do without checking back with the user. There's many ways that this is done, and we covered it in previous videos, like how does the harness actually provide guardrails, and how does it allow for certain tools to be accessed? Can they have write access or read-only access? Those are quite important things that the harnesses have allowed us to build an agent all the way from a ChatGPT, which is just a chatbot that can just answer questions, all the way up until now where we have Claude Code, which can generate humongous pieces of software that can build apps and do a bunch of other things. So what's really important is to know how we interact with agents nowadays. There's essentially two ways to wake up an agent or use an agent. One is to use a trigger, and another one is to use a schedule. So a trigger could be when a new email comes in. You don't need to prompt the agent. The agent can essentially be woken up. There's a new email, go clean it up, go draft an email or whatever else the workflow is. Or it could be schedule based. So at Nairon, we have a lot of schedules that run on a daily basis, like an agent that looks at our competitors, an agent that looks at content that we have that's going live. Also different performance agents that are looking at how our weeks are doing, how our pipeline is doing, etc. These all run on schedules. So it's a fixed time. An agent wakes up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday to do our pipeline review, for example. And so just a recap, AI agents work in loops, either through a schedule or a trigger. They then decide what they need to do. They take action, they observe how that action is done, and they go in loops until that work is done. That would be essentially a very autonomous agent. If you add a couple of steps in, like for example, you add a step right after deciding what it can do to have a human come in and qualify the work and maybe change the decision, that's a less autonomous agent. If you add another loop after the task is done to check the work, that would be a less autonomous agent. Now, where the world is going and where AI is going is that there are more autonomy and the loops are larger and longer. When the stakes are high, we want to give them low autonomy work and a lot of approvals. And then when the stakes are low and there's a lot of volume, we want to give them a lot of autonomy to be able to do the work, right? Just to point out, we typically build agents first with low autonomy, and then we increase the dial of autonomy as we go. And when we see the agents now start to struggle, that's when we kind of cap it. And we say, okay, for this type of task, with all their circumstances given, it makes sense to just keep it at this level of autonomy, because anything after that will break and anything before that's not efficient enough. Mm-hmm. So that's very important, because a lot of business owners, they either expect that an agent will be able to do everything from day one, typically not the case, or they don't know what the agent is able to do on their own, and so they don't give them enough of the resources that they might need.
As we start wrapping up things in the AI Foundation series and move into more advanced concepts. So until then, guys, if you enjoyed the video, you can subscribe to our newsletter, links down in the description below. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, where we're very active on a day-to-day basis. Until then, we'll see you in the next video.